Hi, I'm Margaret Law and I'm an artist based in the Bay Area of California. I'm an oil painter and I paint landscapes and seascapes and anything in nature that inspires me. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a couple of mistakes that I made my first year being a full-time artist. So it's been a little bit over a year since I left my job to pursue a creative career full-time, so I thought it'd be a good way to share some of the mistakes that I've made and the lessons I've learned from them as a way to share my progress and give a little bit of behind the scenes of being an artist full time. And just a caveat, these are all based off of my personal experiences and what I've learned from them. I know that everyone's journey is a little bit different and some mistakes that I made might not be relatable or might not even be mistakes for you, so just kind of take that with a grain of salt. So to start out, the first mistake that I made was isolating myself. So after I had left my job, I really wanted to focus on improving my painting skills and building out a portfolio. So in order to do that, I just really isolated myself and closed myself in to focus on painting, and that was really good for me initially in terms of developing my skills and devoting time to practicing, but it turned out not to be really great for me emotionally and socially. Because I had isolated myself, I felt like I lost touch with my local community and my friends, and I didn't really take the opportunity to go out and reach out into my local arts community and meet other artists who were going through maybe a similar process as me. So I'd often find myself painting and then feeling stuck and frustrated, and I think meeting other artists and talking to them would have helped me kind of get through those creative blocks, whether it be going to see how they paint or talking about different ideas, because then it would inspire me to think about my paintings a little bit differently. Maybe I'd see someone paint the same subject but in a different way, and that would inspire me to think differently, or someone would be using a similar style but then for a different subject, and that would also give me a different perspective. And I just wasn't getting that when I kind of closed myself off and just spent a lot of time alone painting. And then this also relates to me being trying to make this into a career. I didn't have people to bounce ideas off of or listen to their experiences and perspectives. So I kind of stagnated in that sense. But I think I eventually realized that this wasn't a sustainable way of living. I needed to go out more and connect with people and other artists. And since then, I have made a ton of artist friends across a bunch of different creative practices, which has been really helpful because we both talk about our hopes and dreams and ideas in our creative pursuits, as well as kind of building out a business. And that's been really helpful for me to think a bit beyond myself and what I'm doing, and kind of thinking about the community, art community as a whole, and how I am a part of it and how I can contribute to it. So that's been really great. So now I volunteer with a couple of local arts organizations, and I have a couple of friends who are local in the Bay Area, as well as kind of across the United States, that I talk to on a regular basis, and we we talk about the things that we're working on and our problems and our setbacks, as well as our wins and losses. And it feels great to kind of have these conversations and share these ideas. And I've been really finding it helpful to motivate me as well as inspire me in my creative pursuits. A second mistake that I made during my first year was, it's a bit unrelated but kind of similar, along the lines of isolating myself, was I didn't visit a lot of art fairs or festivals or events in person before participating in them. So when I first left my job, I signed up for a number of holiday events and fairs to participate in, before checking out whether they'd be a good fit. And when I say checking out, I mean like going in person to see the type of creatives and artwork that are in the events. And I think this is important because there are so many events catered to artists in the Bay Area, which I think is really great that we have so many opportunities. This means that there's also a lot of variety in the types of shows and fairs that happen across the Bay Area. So there's something for everyone, but it doesn't mean that everything is for everyone. And so I realized that a little too late after signing up for all these events, and I realized I was participating in some events that were a great fit for me, but also some events that weren't a great fit for me in my artwork. So in those events, I felt really disappointed sometimes because I wasn't reaching my audience, and it was just a lot of time and money spent on things that ended up being very emotionally draining for me. So what I've learned is that I need to take the time to visit different events and fairs in person first to see the type of art and work that's in these events, and talk to the artists about their experiences before going and participating in them myself, because they are an investment of time and money. And I think for me, initially, I thought it was really costly in terms of time to visit a fair without participating in it, and then having to wait a whole extra year to then be able to participate in the next year. But I realize now it's just the time commitment that I just have to wait for that time to pass. It's just part of the process, so then I don't jump into something that really isn't a good fit for me, and then that in the end becomes more costly. So that's what I've been doing this year, because one of my goals, as I mentioned in an earlier video, is to participate in more in-person events. So I want to be a little bit more conscious to make sure those events are a right fit for me. And finally, the third mistake I made this past year was not making a budget for my art business. So I know money can be difficult and uncomfortable to talk about, but I've been finding it really helpful to be direct about talking about financial topics as it relates to my art business. So before becoming a full-time artist, I used to work a job completely unrelated to being an artist, and art was more of a hobby for me. So all of my spending related to painting and my art was kind of set aside in a discretionary spending fund for myself, and I didn't really think too deeply about it. But when I started painting full-time, without setting aside a budget for my art business, I felt really stressed about spending money on more art supplies or booth fees or anything like office supplies, anything related to kind of growing my business. And I would overanalyze whether or not I would need supplies, or whether or not I should be attending an event. And it was just really stressful, and I didn't like it. So what happened was, at the end of last year, I took a business course geared towards artists and creatives, and it helped me think about my business as an artist more concretely. So I realized making a budget for my art helps me make decisions about what I spend my time and money on. I've separated my art business budget into categories like festival booth fees and art call application fees and art supplies and office supplies, and anything, everything has its own category. So this has removed a lot of my internal agony and debating about whether or not I should be applying to certain art calls or festivals, which I know are a good fit for me through my vetting process that I just talked about. But then I would have a block about spending the money. So now that I'm working from this budget, it's been really helpful for me in making decisions. It removes the stress around it, and it prevents me from procrastinating on buying art supplies before the last minute or submitting an application the night before it's due. Not because I procrastinated on the work, but because I didn't know if I should be spending the money. So now that I have kind of these budgets pulled out and these I've allocated a budget to everything. I know that I have the funds to spend, or I've decided beforehand that I'm committing this much amount of money to some event or supplies, so I don't have to make the decision at the moment. So this has been a new change for me, and I'm hoping to see what it looks like and how it works for me this year. And so those are the 3 mistakes that I made this my first year as an artist. I made plenty of other mistakes, but those are the 3 that I've been thinking about recently, and I wanted to share them with you and what I've learned from them. Again, these are all my experiences. You might not relate to them, but I'm curious to hear about some mistakes that you might have made in your own creative journey, whether or not it's a business, or if you're a business owner and it's not so creative, any mistakes that you've made as you've tried to grow. So let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful, and share what you've been thinking about. I'd also love to hear any ideas of what you want me to talk about in my videos in the future. I'm open to suggestions. And a quick note, this video isn't sponsored by anyone, so if you want to support me and my artwork, you can shop original paintings at my website in the link below, or you can share this video with a friend. It really helps my channel out a lot. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.